creator of the NRC brand, gives his insight and thoughts on the world of comic books, gaming, tech, and media industries as the host of Neo Reality Collective. Experience a slew of regular episodes covering news and pop culture, along with reviews and editorial pieces showcasing the best and worst of our ever-expanding multimedia world.
Welcome everyone to Neo Reality Collective. I'm your host, Doug Brown. We're back again with the next set of news for the milestone episode 80. Oh man. Ezra Miller's been recast from their role in Invincible, quietly so. Now you're probably wondering, what? Why would they recast Ezra Miller from let's see, someone named D.A. Sinclair from Invincible? They don't say why. We don't get the information as to why. Instead, we just assume it's because Ezra Miller has a massive legal case against them and has destroyed their reputation and flash bombs, so yeah, and all the other horrible stuff they were doing, and making the LGBTQ community bad because politicians will no doubt use Ezra Miller as a conduit to explain they're evil. We must hunt them down like dogs. Because the government's crazy, because a lot of governments nowadays are going crazy over this. So yeah, Ezra Miller is now been recast by a person named let's see what was the name? Eric Bauza, a prolific voice actor who has done work on shows such as Rick and Morty, X-Men '97, Looney Tunes, and Bob's Burgers. In the case of Bob's Burgers, he was recast as the voice of recurring Jimmy Petso after the show fired the original voice actor Jay Johnson. So he's just taking over everything. That sounds about right. The character only was voiced one episode by Ezra Miller, so it's not really going to be a big deal until like way later. So yeah, not going to happen. Nothing going to be big going on that. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman 3 won't happen without enough pressure from fans, says Linda Carter. Well, Linda Carter, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 is not happening at all because unless you want to bring back the DCU and all the complexity that happened behind the scenes with that, that's not going to happen. And if I recall correctly, did Patty Jenkins send them a Wikipedia article talking about character arcs? And that's just... yeah. And 1984 in the most part was bad in my eyes. Like, bad looking on it. Yeah, but Linda Carter showed up at the end of the movie being another Amazonian that left for Man's World during a big battle, and they presumed she was dead. And she shows up at the end hinting that she was going to show up again. But yeah, maybe Linda Carter might come in for the Wonder Woman Game of Thrones style epic they're gonna do with the Themyscira stuff. That could be interesting. Like that could be a consolation on that front. That could be a fun. Well, let's do it. It's just there's also the word about Wonder Woman getting an animated series, as possibly, hopefully, that is an awesome idea because my God, Batman has had multiple, Superman has had several. Let's just go with that. My Adventures with Superman, Superman the Animated Series, Superman the Legion of Superheroes, and outside of the Justice League stuff and Young Justice, he doesn't really have much of a starring role on that front. And not the team-based ones. Yeah, he's had 3 Superman-centric shows, as far as I recall. But he's been in a lot of them. Meanwhile, CD Projekt Red, the studio behind the critically acclaimed The Witcher series and the firstly hated, then ultimately loved Cyberpunk 2077 after its massive redemption arc, they have come out and said that microtransactions will never be part of their single-player stuff, saying, "We do not see a place for microtransactions in the case of our single-player games, but we do not rule out its solution in the future in the case of multiplayer projects." Well, you can't win them all, especially after the whole Dragon Dogma 2 disaster with its microtransaction policies. I kind of saw that eventually these studios were going to start responding about this. Now, imagine if Baldur's Gate 3 did that for every choice you did, and there was a lot to do in that game. Meanwhile, Helldivers 2, speaking of microtransactions in games, Helldivers 2 is once again fulfilling the promise of liberty and democracy, and the only good bug is a dead bug. So, Helldivers 2 has taken the task to ask you, our fearless soldiers, our fearless Helldivers, to go forth and redeem yourselves for our biggest operational failures that cataclysmically decimated our forces. Our citizens watched in horror as Melvin Creek fell to the automatons. Millions of valiant heroes perished attempting to defend it. For too long, the bots have maintained their illegal occupation, desecrating the memory of the fallen by rapidly depleting the planet's exceptionally rich rhodium deposits. This travesty has been allowed to continue no longer. Take vengeance for the fallen, honor our heroes, end the theft of valuable minerals, liberate Melvin! And let's see, man, this is a planet-wide operation to destroy the filthy automatons as we prepare ourselves and whatnot. Let's see, it took us about, judging by the critical statements, we accomplished this in 5 hours within a 24-hour window. Oh, man. But after the celebratory message came out saying, "At long last, the creek is free. The heroes who died in its defense can finally rest in peace, knowing justice has been served. The planet's rhodium deposits will be mined by the citizens who rightfully own them." Colonists are returning to the ruins of their settlements, pickaxes in hand, hopeful for a prosperous future, but at last dawn breaks upon the free creek. However, the Helldivers were not awarded their 35 medals they were initially promised. Instead, the major order has been updated, asking players to now shift their focus to Umbora for a reward of 40 medals. They'll need them to hold their ground until the order ends in 2.5 days to finally claim what could be a significant win over the automatons. And then recently, they finally broke through the barriers. They have liberated the galaxy and have taken hold of the force of darkness that plagues our democracy of Super Earth. And then all of a sudden people found out that there was flying ships around that were actively camouflaged, which means that we must now panic. For freedom! Meanwhile, Blizzard is open to more Warcraft films. Okay. I know the first one didn't do so well, and how do I say this delicately? They told the fans who did love the movie to make sure the movie does well in the box office, because if we don't get the director's cut that he has, which is a D move right there. Like, really D move right there. But during a developers conference, Warcraft franchise director John Haidt says he loves the 2016 film. It'd be silly of him to tell him, saying he does, but he says he has a different request from his fellows in one major way for the next future Warcraft movie if they ever make one. He doesn't want to be a filmmaker. He's open to more Warcraft films, so maybe he'll find someone else to do it. Probably fans, but then they'll be told to not be fans, and Blizzard will do some horrible things to them, even with the Microsoft ownership. So, yeah, not really good ideas on that front, but, I don't play Warcraft. I've never played the Warcraft series. I've never played World of Warcraft as far as I'm aware. but there is a massive, expansive lore, and there is a story to be told in film and TV, but they'll probably screw it up, especially with Blizzard these days. And then they had to face another issue where there was claims that there was a generative AI being made to make content for it, especially after some studios were touting AI generated NPCs and AI driven level creation. The Warcraft franchise director had to speak about it and says, no, we are not doing that. We're not using generative AI content. So, yeah, and understandably, that is a lazier option and cheaper financial option. Like, here's the thing. If you want to use AI in creative works, at best they're probably proof of concepts, rough drafts, not the final overall package. That's just stupid. Like, you could use the AI to draw a quick, easy pitch to people, refine it as best you can on your own, and then try to sell it around or get a Kickstarter out of it or donation run out of it to get into full production to start really making it. Whereas in other cases, some people want to use it to take over the entire thing, which is horrible and terrible at the same time. Like, AI has its place. Let's be real. We're trying to be fair here, but making it be the creating kit for it instead of having developers do the work, yeah, not doing it. And Sam Raimi had to come out and says that he's not working on. He is not working, sadly, on Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, despite the rumors. So he's definitely heard rumors about it, but isn't sure Marvel would be interested considering the success they've seen with Tom Holland's take on the character. I mean, like, we live in a Marvel multiverse in the MCU saga right now, so we could still do this. Like, I said this, when Sony reportedly wants to take Spider-Man 4 for Tom Holland to a new height, to more bigger multiversal stuff, I was like, okay, no. Can we ground into the street level again? We kind of missed that. If you want to do multiversal Spider-Man again, you have the Amazing Spider-Verse, you could do that. Or here's an idea. Let's do this. Have Spider-Man 4 have Spectacular Spider-Man 4 for Tobey Maguire, and make Amazing Spider-Man 3 for Andrew Garfield. Get those released on Disney Plus or Sony apps. Then we can talk doing another crossover multiverse Spider-Man story that is not the Spider-Verse series. Come on, let's do it. So, the actress who plays Gamora has come out and said that, yeah, she doesn't think the Guardians of the Galaxy are done for good, saying it would be a huge loss to the MCU. And, yeah, saying, I mean, so far I think she is gone for good for me, but I don't think Gamora has gone for good. I would think it would be a huge loss for Marvel if they didn't find a way to bring back the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just such a fan-favorite group of misfits, you know, and then at the helm they had a voice like James Gunn's writing, which is just so marvelous for and very specific for the genre, and it's so great for the genre as well. Well, here's the thing. Batista doesn't want to come back because he was relieved to be done with Drax, considering how he felt like his character was not as utilized as he should have been. And James Gunn is working at DC, so unless you want another director and another Drax or just someone else taking the role, you're kind of done here. I mean, like, we could focus on the new Guardians of the Galaxy that's currently running around, but people might complain won't be the same, and then we'll be dealing with that self-defeating cycle. Meanwhile, Discord. So Discord. Discord has created a view bot for April Fools. and it destroyed the GTA 6 trailer in half a day. Yeah. And they even wrote a tweet saying, oops. And I'm just like, oh god. This is so bad. So bad. What have you done, Discord? Could you at least give us all the viewing powers we could get from this? Because, hey, let's be real. A lot of small YouTubers are getting screwed over these days by the algorithm. Yeah. In fact, let's see where that viewbot is. How's that viewbot doing? It was called Loot Boxes Are Here. Let's see how that video is currently doing in the production sense. It's currently at 3.2 million views, but it was at one point a few days ago peaked at 1.4 billion until the algorithm, until YouTube fixed this whole mess. So balance has been restored on that front. Meanwhile, a video game called Content Warning blows up on Steam, where it's basically a game where you're recording horror stuff in a dangerous situation for content creators. So it's basically the co-op horror indie game tasks you with filming your friends doing scary things to become SpookTube famous, according to the official blurb. It works similarly to Lethal Company, which was a surprise hit on Steam when it launched last year and is still going strong. You team up with your friends to visit a scary world, get spooky footage, and hopefully make it back alive. As soon as you do so, you upload your footage to SpookTube, then watch the money roll in. Only that was simple in real life. Except without the probable dying content. Yeah, life would be so great. And Microsoft is reportedly making Xbox AI chatbot to automate support tasks. It's currently in testing stages. So anyways, do you want to hear the story about that time where a university did a survey test with the AIs they were doing to run fictional nations, and every scenario ended with nuclear hellfire? And when they tried to figure out why the AI was thinking this, their response was, we have nukes, why not use them? Thus confirming my theory that the Terminator is about to become a true story in a decade or two. I hope to not be around when that happens. Meanwhile, speaking of all the doom and gloom, we got a first look at the Punisher for Daredevil Born Again. Nice. Oh man, that's fun. It's fun. It's bloody and he is not happy. Meanwhile, Immortals of Agam on consoles getting HDR and FSR3 support. Now, I don't know what that one is. I know what HDR is, high dynamic range. I had to look up what FSR3 is, and it means Fidelity FX Super Resolution 3 support, providing enhanced visual fidelity and optimized performance and more mileage on console hardware without requiring more horsepower. Reported first by the Digital Foundry Group. So, okay. FSR3 is the latest iteration of AMD's super sampling technology. Like its previous two iterations, it's compatible with AMD's GPUs, NVIDIA's GeForce, and Intel Air graphics card, but it stands out from its predecessor because it includes a reduced latency and frame generation tech to provide an increase in frame rates in games that supports it. This boost is especially helpful on the Xbox and PS5s, which are approaching their fourth year in the current hardware cycle amidst rumors of console upgrades later in the year. We should be expecting the new Immortals update in a few weeks according to Digital Foundry. Meanwhile, former BioWare and Ubisoft devs are making a new action-adventure game called Eternal Strands. Ah, man. The developer is called Yellow Brick Games, so as such we need a Yellow Brick Road reference. Oh man. Simpler times and simpler times. Yellow Brick Games is a new development studio founded by industry vets, including longtime creative director Michael Laidlaw of BioWare's Dark Dragon Age. Mike Laidlaw, where have I heard that name before? I think he published a story about Epistle 3, and, well, that pissed everyone off at Valve for a little bit. And Valve responded terribly. So, Eternal Strands. This third-person action adventure draws inspiration from the likes of Shadow of the Colossus and Monster Hunter, where you're battling massive creatures hell-bent on destroying you, and combines that with Tears of the Kingdom like physics, manipulating powers to turn you into the ultimate source of supreme badass. You play as a weaver named Brian, and one of the few remaining magic users left after the use of magic caused a cataclysmic event that destroyed much of her world. Yeah, depressing. Alongside the numbers of your fellow magic using Weaver brand, you'll embark on an adventure that pits you against all manner of monsters, including more than a few massive giant bosses that seem really interested in stopping you into jerky. Yeah. Also, Joker 2 has finally got its poster and will be getting an April 9th trailer coming very soon, since at the recording of this podcast is April 8th, so later on April 9th it will be getting a trailer. Hooray! Featuring Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I haven't heard her voice yet, so I know that it's out there now, but like, I just don't know yet. I'll probably check it out later when I watch the trailer. I wanted to wait till the trailer came out. Meanwhile, the Final Fantasy composer, I can't pronounce his name, I tried, saying he would be honored to return for the remake trilogy finale of Final Fantasy VII. Say, it'd be my honor. Really, I'm honored to even extended the offer. After a gentleman's agreement to work on the third Final Fantasy stuff, yeah, he initially said he was planning to, retire, but he was like, I can't do it yet. I need to finish the story. And all that. And I'm hoping to do a big video on my YouTube channel side of things with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but we'll see about that. Back to Sam Raimi, he also came out and revealed that he wanted to direct he'd be interested in directing Secret Wars, but Marvel hasn't asked him yet, so there's still no director on that front. While Kristen Dunst says she would have appeared in No Way Home if she wanted to, but no one asked her to. Say if the offer did came, she would have accepted it. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see MJ back, the OG MJ, with all these past collisions happening. Seeing redhead MJ interacting with Michelle Jones. It's such a weird dynamic to see how that would go. Especially since they're much older now than they were beforehand. So time probably has been kind to MJ in the Tobey Maguire universe, but we'll see. Like, I did recall that Tobey Maguire said he kept it vague about what happened after Spider-Man 3, just so if the door opens, it could happen, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Saber Interactive's CEO has to come out once more to remind everyone that KOTOR remake is alive and well, because of course, we have gotten no updates still on that since it's still in active development. It's been 3 years. Can we just... And then it was paused indefinitely after a lack of progress, and then it was revived again as Saber Interactive, and there's been minimal updates since, so... I have no idea what's gonna happen now. Like, I'm not even saying I want a one-to-one with enhanced graphics and whatnot, but like, come on, give us some update. I'm not asking for a release that's all bugged and messed up. But there has been some big news. Deadline, with corroboration from IGN, have announced that the Fantastic Four, the upcoming MCU film, has cast its Silver Surfer. God. Who is this man that must lead the Silver Surfer? It's a woman named Julia Garner. What? But Silver Surfer's a man. Oh man, we're gonna have this conversation. So, Silver Surfer in the main universe is a man. However, in a critically acclaimed story called Earth X, there's a woman Silver Surfer. And the actress Julia Garner is set to play the role of Shalla-Bal. I'm pretty sure I failed to pronounce that right, but she was introduced in the comic Norrin, Radd's lover in Silver Surfer issue 1. However, Deadline reports notes that she's playing an alternate version, suggesting that this might in fact be Earth X, the Fantastic Four set in, since the MCU has not established the Fantastic Four, and it'd be hard to really do so at this point for a while. And yeah, especially when you get poster details and information suggesting that this is indeed in fact a other side of the multiverse kind of thing, since it's showing a very 1960 retro style image, and the thing is reading a famous issue of Life magazine. So with that, and there's Reagan's and whatnot. So the idea that 1960 might be it. No, wait, not Reagan. I keep thinking Reagan for some reason. Lyndon B. Johnson, the then president who was elected late that year following the death of Kennedy, in the most gruesome way we could possibly never want to see. But, yeah. So, Moana 2 released a new image confirming that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and the voice actress of Moana are coming back. I can't pronounce her name, I tried. But yeah, back in February it was announced with a short teaser of Moana's new adventure kicking off with an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, and the fact that there's a giant monster behind her in this image, so hijinks ensue. And while Disney is doing Moana sequels and live action disaster remakes, Lana Wachowski is once again bringing back The Matrix 5. But this time, Lana's not directing this. No, it's going to be the director, Drew Goddard. I tried. Yeah, he's on board to write and direct this film, and it will mark the first Matrix film without the involvement of Lana or Lily Wachowski on the directing chair. Although Lana will remain a producer. In its announcement, Warner Bros. Did not reveal any of its team cast members like Keanu Reeves or Carrie-Anne Moss will be returning, nor did it disclose any details about the plot. Well, it kind of has to have Keanu Reeves and Carrie Moss because they didn't go all their way just to resurrect them for nothing. So, moving on from that, a few years ago, it was reported a while back that Apple was planning to build a car. My God. And years later, the car died. The Apple car died. So, with all that happening, Apple has to come up with a new plan to move on with their lives. So, what's the next big thing? Home robots. So, we got one or two scenarios here. We got one, maybe two, maybe three scenarios at best. One or two at most. One, we get C-3PO from Star Wars or the Mr. Handy type from Fallout that doesn't kill us. Or we get the iRobots and the Matrix, which will claim dominion over the Earth because we are stupid. Or we could get the third one where it's both, where we get Detroit become human and they protest, or Star War. Either way, we're screwed, probably, because humanity wants to destroy itself half the time, I think. And And I'm not even talking about everything I hear in the news these days. Oh, and speaking of humanity's yearn to destroy, DC wants to revive. So they're going to release a story called the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives #1, where they go with what was hopefully their original plan. Okay, so iconically, Jason Todd died. We all know that. Because votes. But DC didn't anticipate Todd dying, even though they had a storyline where that happens. Where they kill him. But now, no. DC has now republished the old issue with the original ending of Jason Todd surviving the brutal encounter, and DC's playing an all-new story that tells readers what would have happened to the ex-robber during and after his recovery from nearly being killed by the Clown Prince of Crime. Which, if they do that story, it's going to be interesting to see how they tell the story from what could have been if the original writing team was involved in this. I had to try to look this up to see if the original team was involved in this idea. Oh man. You know, this actually is so this is what I kind of thought when I heard these alternate endings and original stuff coming out. I was like, you know, they could bring back as many people as possible to bring back what the original ending for Armageddon 2001 was supposed to be. You know, where Captain Atom was revealed to be Monarch and all hell breaks loose on that. I'm just saying, if we're going to bring back all these alternate endings that were planned at one point, might as well go all in and release a new different type of what if, like what if we had done this plan and what if we went with the original plan, as opposed to what if everything went horribly wrong for our heroes. That's the tale of the dark multiverse. They haven't done that in years. Could be interesting if they do that. Meanwhile, EA is bringing back Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the PC, after 8 years when it was launched on mobile. So the PC version has a cross-save functionality, according to Game Informer, and the mobile version, alongside improved performance, frame rate is doubled to 60 frames, with the high resolution settings that you would come to expect. The layout of the game is tweaked on PC. Elsewhere, where there's mouse and keyboard, support with key remapping. Mobile players can bring their progress across PC, with EA indicating that versions will be updated in lockstep once the PC version is out. My God. EA be actually consumer friendly? With Star Wars that's not Fallen Order? Okay, that's cool. So, also, oh dear. Gameplay for the canceled Nolan vs. Batman game that became Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor was finally unearthed. Yeah, try to think that for a second. This was the first, when I first heard this, when I read this article, I was thinking to myself, wait, a Batman game turned into a Lord of the Rings game? Well, that's something you don't see every day. Oh man. But yeah, they were showing some gameplay footage, images, and artwork that was originally set for this game, and what could have been the whole system, and what would become Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor by the developers of Monolith Productions. It's fairly interesting stuff. I would have been... man, imagine if that did come out in a world where we would get the much beloved Arkham series. Man, what could have been on that front? Meanwhile, The Witcher, aka the not Witcher, but because we are being led by a bunch of executives who think better than these actual people who made the series, who made the stories, have casted 3 people: Charlotte Copley, James Purefoy, and Danny Woodburn as fan favorite characters from the story. And one of them is familiar. from the Wild Hunt video game, Zoltan Chivalry. And yeah, I'm just like, oh god. It's funny that they're still going with the Witcher game at the Netflix, the Witcher story in the Netflix after they butchered everything and had Henry Cavill quit on them and just say, I quit. I am going to go and do Warhammer and maybe Mass Effect and maybe some other video game adaptations. So yeah, that was the thing. And now we get Hellblade 2. Remember that game that's been on the up and up for God knows how long? Well, we have a month and a half until Senua Saga's Hellblade 2 is released. So Slater Turnstill had to reveal that Mark Slater Turnstill, the virtual effects director for Hellblade 2, confirmed the console versions are locked at 30 frames per second with dynamic resolution, with no additional graphic options such as performance mode. However, the PC will not be locked with this feature, and increased FPS can only be achieved on that specific platform. So normally you get mad and explain and curse out how on earth these consoles that keep touting all this stuff can't do this. Mark has a different response to the whole inevitable criticism, saying like having Hellblade 2 at 30 frames per second made the experience feel more cinematic. And they don't even talk about the other specifications, like if there was technical limitations with the Series S. And I'm just like, we're screwed, aren't we? We're screwed, aren't we? We're screwed. Like, you can't just admit it was the Series S that might have done it, but no, you're just saying we're cinematic. Like, then why is the PC version not getting that same treatment by your own logic? Oh god. Oh god, I think they don't want to admit it, so they're just lying. Also, on more FU David Zasalv news, Jonathan Nolan, the co-creator of a very critically acclaimed series that had one last season to go before it finished, got canceled because David Zaslav is an idiot. Jonathan Nolan had come out and says, I vow to finish the story with Westworld in spite of what David Zaslav and the executives at WBD had done. And they said, they said that declining ratings between the second and third seasons were the reason. Okay, then just sell it to another guy and just get the last two questions in, because you were set to have the finale as the 5th season, and you were going to have the fate of the oncoming human extinction, which is now not going to be explained anytime soon. Oh god damn it. So let's see if someone will come in and demand Westworld be bought and be sold to a different person to end the show with its final season. And like, we've had stuff like Sense 8 get canceled, which got feature-length finale, Warrior Nun returning as a film trilogy, and 3 seasons editions of Lucifer from Netflix. So, and the most famous one is, oh god, it's been so long. The Expanse, yeah, and that went to Amazon after they canceled it off of Sci-Fi. Oh man. But yeah, this has been everything I've covered from the last week. Oh man, it was busy trying to comb through all this content just to get through to see the things I found most interesting to talk about. This is your host, Eric Brown, Enjoy this last outro. This is Neo Reality Collective, pop culture news and reviews talk. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my content. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter. Go to everywhere in my description in the library below. Follow me everywhere you can at Neo Reality ENT. And stay tuned for the last outro, and we'll see you all again next time. Peace and take care, and have a good day, everyone.
And that was our latest edition of Neo Reality Collective. Be sure to follow and support NRE creator Eric Brown on Twitter and YouTube. Check the links in the description below, and we'll see you all next time.